Hello, my daydreamers. My name is Cynthia Diaz, and I'm going to be talking about my personal story on pregnancy and delivery. So, if you're interested in knowing about my story, please stay tuned. Also, like and subscribe and show support. Thank you. Okay, so for those of you that do not know me, my name is Cynthia. I am 21 years old. No, sorry, 22 now. And I have my daughter at 21. I got pregnant at 20. So, yeah, this is my story. So, let's begin. My pregnancy, the first trimester is the worst. I did not throw up ever throughout my pregnancy, but I did have a lot of nausea. I was very, very tired. Your immune system goes down like incredibly, at least for me, that was my experience. Like, I could not get out of bed. I was just so tired. And if you're a mama right now, don't worry, you're not alone. All of us have been there. Take your rest, take your time, be, gentle with yourself. Don't push yourself too hard. You're creating a human being. So, yeah, that's what it takes. A lot of energy. So, back to being tired and immune system, I did get colds and I got very sick. And that led me to having Bell's palsy. For those of you that don't know what Bell's palsy is a facial paralysis. So I had that once, the first time in my life ever, with a facial paralysis. So your body's changing a lot. You're very tired. And on top of that, I was sick, and with a facial paralysis, I was feeling very down. I was not feeling so good about myself and about the whole situation. Plus, my baby was not planned. So it was also everything so shocking, and I was so young. I'm still young still, but I feel like an old woman now, even though I'm like 22. So after I got the Bell's palsy, it was only for a month. So I took some prednisone, which is like an anti-inflammatory, and the nerves went back and I started to move again. I will leave some pictures, like either wherever I can find, because it's my first YouTube video, so I'm not that expertise yet. Yeah, I'll leave a picture and you guys are gonna see. It's kind of sad that I had that, but we overcame that stage, especially my husband, who at the time was working very hard, long hours, and he was very worried about me. He didn't want me to stay like that, paralyzed. So yes, I did have it rough at the beginning. Later, I got the Bell's palsy on my second trimester, so I was kind of having a little bit more energy, but then at the same time, I was feeling tired. Your shortness of breath is insane, especially if you don't work out throughout your pregnancy from before you got pregnant, and then you want to get into working out. It's really, really hard once you're already pregnant, because you're giving birth to a human being. So yeah, you're creating a human being, and it takes a lot of energy out of you. That lasted 1 month, so I was like on my 4th month when that happened. On my 3rd trimester, oh man, I was so tired, man. I was even more tired. I tried to exercise as much as I can, walk as much as I can. I remember being humongous. And at that time, I did not embrace pregnancy. I have a few friends that they are embracing pregnancy, and it looks so beautiful embracing pregnancy, because it is a beautiful thing. You don't notice it. For me, I didn't notice it back then. I was just like, oh my god, I'm fat. But I was not fat, I was just pregnant. And my body was changing. And then I remember I didn't like my belly button because it pops out at the end of the trimester. So I was kind of having like a little bit of depression back then, but nothing too serious. Later on the day, I'm gonna tell you guys something. The day that I found out that I was pregnant, I was 4 weeks. 4 weeks. And I remember telling my husband weeks before, just joking around, I'm pregnant. And he was so excited, like he was crying. And I was like, no, I'm joking, I'm not pregnant. And he was like, he felt really sad. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. No, I'm not ready and whatever. Like, let's take it slow and whatever. But like 2 weeks later, I got pregnant. And for real, I'm like, dude, I am pregnant. What are we gonna do? And yeah, I told my family and stuff. It was a whole process. I didn't kind of want to tell them because I felt like it was too soon for me to have a baby. I wanted to finish my studies and stuff. And for some reason, like the culture, it's that, oh, if you gotta have babies after you have graduated, because, babies, like, they put you behind and stuff, but it's not true. You can still continue studying, and that's what I did. I continued to study throughout my whole pregnancy. And this is where I'm gonna get to. So, days before I deliver my baby, my husband wanted me to walk. So I was on my 40 week. I delivered my baby 40 weeks in 3 days. So I delivered her 3 days later than my due date. And I walked so much in Walmart because that's the closest, store, little, that we had in that little town, Hinesville, Georgia. And I remember we went walking, and he told me that I was gonna eat ice cream if I walked like as much, like an hour or something. And I'm like, okay, that sounds good. I'm gonna work out and stuff. So then after I'm done running around in all the way Walmart, he denied giving me ice cream because my husband was very like making sure I was eating fruits, making sure like I was staying very healthy so we could deliver a very healthy baby. And yeah, he was on me on that. And then later he didn't give me the ice cream, and I was so mad. I wanted to like, choke him. But anyways, obviously I didn't do that. I got in the car and I was kind of sad, like, I wanted ice cream. He lied to me. And the next day, I think it was like the 40 weeks plus 2 days, I go walk again. Actually, no, we had a little bit of wiki because they told us that that was the only thing that would work to, keep things moving and stuff. Obviously, at this point, you're so huge, you don't want to have wiki. But we had to, so the baby could, come out already and just get it done with. So actually, that actually really worked. And the next day, I was going to deliver. So hours before my delivery, before I go to the hospital, I finally walked to Walmart, all the way from Walmart again for the second time. And this time, my husband, he gave me, we went to McDonald's to get the sundae. So once I got the sundae, the sundae was 30 minutes. I had to wait 30 minutes for a sundae in McDonald's. Can you imagine that? And then I was starting to have contractions. I'm like, I'm like, oh my God, I'm not feeling good. Like, I think I'm having the baby. Because the contractions don't feel like Braxton Hicks, which is like the early contractions that they seem like contractions, but they don't last that long. They really like put a lot of pressure on your belly, but it's not the real contractions. When you know it's the real contractions, it's the real contractions. Like, that thing is intense, and you feel like you can't even breathe. Like you're like, you have to breathe, of course, but I'm just saying that it's kind of hard where you're like having these cramps on your belly, and it's just a lot of sensations at the same time, especially because I was waiting for my ice cream for 30 minutes. So I was just like, can I have my ice cream so I can deliver fine? So I got my ice cream after 30 minutes. I ate it and stuff, so I was super fine, but at the same time I was having contractions, and I was telling my husband, hey, I think we're having the baby. So throughout the night, I was not able to sleep. I think it was like 12, and I was not able to sleep. So throughout the night, I was not able to sleep, and I was recording everything, all my contractions, because you gotta record them. And I remember I called the nurse like, hey, my contractions are like 3 minutes away. They last like this long. I think it's like 2 minutes or more, lasting 2 minutes or more. And I was like, they're lasting like 4 minutes. Can you, can I please just go or something? And she said, take some Tylenol and kind of wait. I'm like, I'm not taking Tylenol. At this time, I thought I was gonna deliver it naturally. But anyways, I didn't take the medicine, and we got ready. At 4 o'clock, we were already on our way to the doctor, to the hospital, to deliver. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm having contractions, blah, blah, blah. They were painful, but I was able to kind of control them. And once they checked me in, I was at 4 centimeters dilated. So that's the exact dilatation that you should be before entering labor. So they already know you're in active labor, and they're gonna keep you there to progress the labor. So that's what they did with me. I was in the room for a few hours. I'm gonna put a video if I can, so you guys can see kind of like my delivery and stuff. I remember that they put my IV. I remember I was having contractions and stuff, and like it passed like 2 hours. It was like 6, 7 in the morning, and I thought, man, I must be like 7 centimeters dilated. And when I look, man, I am 4 still, and it's been like 3 hours of consecutive contractions, and I'm just like, what? Like, if this is it, like, I can't imagine when I'm on an 8. I feel like I'm gonna die. And they ended up breaking my waters, because my waters were not broken. So they put something, a sack, and then they put something, and then they took it out. I don't know. They opened the sack or whatever, and a lot of warm fluid came out. Like, I'm like, oh, I'm peeing myself. They're like, no, it's just the liquid, and that's how it's supposed to be. I'm like, okay. But I was so afraid, because nobody talks about how it is, or they do, but you don't imagine it's this way. And I feel like I was more scared of labor than anything else. I wasn't even thinking about after the baby. I was just thinking labor. I don't think I'm gonna be able to do labor. Like, I was very scared. Like, once they broke my waters, like, I was shaking. And I don't think I was shaking because of the whole situation of like contractions and stuff. I was just so nervous, and they could tell. The nurses could tell that I was just so nervous. And after they broke my water, like, the contractions started to like pump, back and back, and they were too intense. I'm like, oh my god, I can't. And because I was so scared, they were like, do you want an epidural? And I'm like, okay, just give it to me. I'll take it. I'll take anything. Just give it to me. And they injected me the epidural. You have to like kind of like bend like this and kind of fold your arms as much as you can. Lay forward, but you're like shaking, bro. You're shaking, your body's shaking, you're having contractions. Meanwhile, they're putting a fucking needle in the end of your back, and you're like, ah. And yeah, so they did that. After the epidural, man, you actually get to enjoy labor. Like, I enjoyed everything after that. Like, give it to me. I kind of relaxed. I slept a little bit. I was so hungry. Like, it was a 13 hour delivery, so you don't eat. They don't let you eat. And I was just so hungry. I remember like seeing people eating in front of me, and I'm like, I want so bad, but I can't after the baby comes. So then they told me my mom was coming all the way from Miami to Georgia just to see my delivery because it was perfectly on a Saturday. So she was able to come and go back to Miami without asking for permission from her job and stuff. So then my mom gets there, and my baby's ready to push. Like I'm ready to push, get out, and I start pushing. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna push now. And I'm just like, oh my god, I'm so ready. At this point, the epidural was wearing away, and I could move one leg, but the other one I couldn't. So I could feel a little bit of pain, which kind of helped me to know where to push and how to push, you know. Then if I didn't feel anything at all, that's my personal opinion. And when I started pushing, I watched some YouTube videos on how to push and stuff, how to deep breathe, and they were telling me I was doing a good job. I'm like, okay, let's go. I was pushing. I pushed for an hour. It felt like 20 minutes, guys, because of how intense all these emotions, all this pushing. It felt so fast, and they told me that it was an hour. I was like, oh my god. Once they kind of put a mirror in front of me to kind of look down over there because they wanted me to see the baby. They wanted me to feel inspired and just do the last push that I can. And man, I was just like, when they, you know, mirror the thing so for me to see, they're like, can you see? And I'm like, ah, no, I can't. Oh my god, it's a baby. Like, it hit me at that point that I was having a human. I was having a baby. Like, everything felt so unreal. Like I was not there yet. Like I'm like, I can't believe I'm having a baby. I don't even know how it's gonna look. But at that moment when I saw down there that it was coming, like I was feeling like so overwhelmed, like so happy. And I was just like, okay, I'm gonna push really hard to get her out. They told me, she's a redhead, start pushing, mama, start pushing. And I pushed really hard, and the baby's out. Ooh, 4:14, she was out. Or 4:13, sorry. Yeah, they counted 4:14, but my family counted 4:13. And it was so amazing. I really had an amazing delivery. My nurses were super, super duper nice. And it was a dream. It was a dream come true. Like, she came, she was so pretty, and she even smiled to me. Like, it was so cute. She came out and she was like smiling to me. And I'm like, oh my god. She came out smiling, like so ready to be out. And the problem is when they transfer me to the delivery room. I don't think it's delivery room. It's like after labor, they transfer you to a room where you stay like 2 days, where they're monitoring you and the baby, and then they can release you. Well, that didn't go so well. After I delivered my baby around 4:14, I was transferred to the other room, and you guys, you bleed so much. It's insane. Like, they give you these huge ass pads for all their blood. And I was bleeding for a lot of days. Like, they thought I was like, I had like a hemorrhoid, like, you know, that I broke something in there because I kept bleeding. But no, I was fine. I just had a lot of blood going on. What happened in this room is that the nurse that took care of us did not take care of us well. Like, she didn't tell us none of the instructions. Like, if we wanted to call somebody, you know, she didn't tell us, okay, press this button and I'm gonna be right back. She didn't tell us anything. They're destroying the house, you guys. My dog and my daughter, they're destroying the house while I'm doing this video. So for some reason, they take away my daughter. And I don't remember exactly what she said, but she was like, oh, I'm gonna feed her or something. At this point, like, once I deliver, the milk doesn't come right away. And second, breastfeeding hurts. Nobody told me that at all. Breastfeeding hurts so much. They were telling me that every nipple it's different. You know, some women it doesn't hurt them at all and they get the milk fast. Other women the milk doesn't get there until like 4 days, which was my case. And other women's the breast hurts when they're breastfeeding because some nipples are more sensitive than others. So I was the sensitive one. So it hurt so much, you guys. Also, some babies have like small jaw, which makes it harder to latch correctly because they don't kind of like they don't open their mouth. I don't know, something. And yeah, it was harder to latch. And I remember it took me 2 months to fully breastfeed without pain. I went to consultants for breastfeeding and they helped me a lot to latch the baby correctly. And you know, because it's like both of you are learning, especially us that we had trouble breastfeeding. Both of you are learning and it is so meaningful. She stopped breastfeeding like when she was like 1.5, not too long ago. She's 19 months now. And I am very thankful that I was able to switch her because it's kind of hard. She didn't like she didn't like the pacifier or any bottles, so it was really, really hard. So what happened is with this nurse is that she takes away my daughter and she said she was gonna give her food and whatever. Once I see she left, she got my baby in the NICU area to breastfeed, not to breastfeed and leave out, to give her like formula bottle and stuff. And then my baby comes back and she's throwing up. So my daughter starts you know, getting sick and stuff. They did a lot of testing that it was so necessary. I told them that she didn't eat and stuff and that's why she was feeling like that, because if she threw up after the formula then she doesn't have anything in her stomach really. So after all the testing they found out that my daughter indeed was hungry. So they tried to, you know, just give her formula again and kind of like make me breastfeed and stuff, but it was just very very hard for me to kind of defend my daughter. I knew what she wanted and stuff, but it was just really hard to kind of be a mom. Like, what is that? I only have a few hours of being a mom and now I have to protect my baby and I don't know what to say. Should I go against the nurses that are doing a bunch of testing without like using the logic? Baby just was hungry. It was just really hard and there's more to the story, but if you guys wanted me to talk about just that part I would have to do another video. I just don't want to take too much time. Also I was having a lot of pain like on the second day when we were leaving. I was having extremely pain in the back, like over here. I'm not sure if you can see it, like right there. And I had to stay a whole week. You know why? Because they were trying to figure out what I had and they were even gonna do a surgery on me after I delivered the baby because of the pain I was having. They thought it was something in my stomach that was inflamed and I needed to remove it or something. I don't remember exactly what it was, but at the end it ended up, before they took me to the surgery area, the doctor came visit me and he checked me out. I told him what my pain was. He said, in 1 day, in 1 minute or like 3, you have a kidney infection. Like, that's it. And I was like, oh my God, I have been like almost, you know, 4 or 5 days with pain, with fever. And in 3 minutes, you just figured out I had kidney infection. Thank God for you, man. Because these people did not know what I had. And it was just extremely painful, you guys. Having to take care of your kid sick. Oh my goodness, man. I couldn't even change her diaper. And on top of that, the military, you know, if you guys don't know, my husband is in the military. And they were calling him to sign a paper, you know, their leave form for paternity leave. And you guys, I had so much fever that I couldn't take care of my daughter. My husband was the one that, you know, helped me out here because I cannot take care of her. I am sick. And I'm sorry, my daughter's crying in the back. And yeah, that was really hard. I remember I got into a big argument over him having to go to work to sign this paperwork so he could come back and stay with me. But at the same time, like, I felt like it would take a long time. Like, I'm talking about a whole day trying to do a bunch of paperwork and stuff. It was just very, very hard for me, and for us in total. Like, it was just very hard. After I delivered my baby, and after they released me with antibiotics for the kidney infection, I got better. I was getting better from the kidney infection at home, taking antibiotics. I don't know why that took me so hard, so long. And I remember that they gave me some medicine called Cephalexin. This medicine looks like I was allergic to it, or we thought I was allergic to it, because it gave me again another Bell's palsy, another facial paralysis, but on the other side of my face. So the first time was here, second time here, and it was just so hard, you guys. Like, I was trying to recover, at the same time take care of my daughter, who does not sleep. My daughter did not sleep ever. Like, this newborn could go 10 hours without sleeping and just crying and crying and crying, because we didn't know what she had. But the first few hours of her being born, she had this sound in her breathing that I was like, is that normal? And they would say, yeah, that's normal. But later we found out that she has laryngomalacia. Laryngomalacia, it's like it's that your vocal cords are softened, so they make a sound when you breathe in. It kind of like some sound that it's very strong. So if you're interested, I can do another video for laryngomalacia babies, because that was so scary. We had to go to an ENT doctor to diagnose that. But in the meantime, it was just so scary to hear her breathing like that. And also at night, it was just horrible. Like, I couldn't sleep. Later, a few months after my pregnancy, I started to feeling very depressed. Of course, I went through so much. Not to tell you guys another story of mine, which was there were rats inside my house. I don't know how they got in. I mean, we figured out later that how they got in. But I just didn't know what to do. I had a lot of anxiety. We left Georgia. We moved to Colorado, and that's when I sought a psychologist. I'm going back and forth, so sorry. It's all in my head. And yeah, they thought I had postpartum depression. But later they found out that I just had anxiety. I lived through anxiety in that house for like a month or two. Just very struggling because of my face, the fact that there were rats in the house, and I was so scared, like they would jump on my baby's crib, and I was just so terrified. Like, I wouldn't sleep, I wouldn't eat, I wouldn't get out of my room. I was so scared. Like, I have a phobia towards rats. So yeah, I can't even think about one. If I see one, I would start crying and jumping everywhere. Any other animal, I'm fine. Like, I can go running and I'm fine. Yeah, but rats, no. I'm terrified. And yeah, that's kind of my story. They figured out that I have anxiety and just a little bit of depression, but it's more anxiety than anything else. After I got to Colorado, things got better. Of course, I've had some difficulties here. Not here in general, but like after the fact that I had the baby and stuff. Yeah, it was a difficult time, but just like everything, is just a stage. My baby, it's now big, and they grow so fast, you guys. Like, you don't realize it, but the time goes so fast, and literally you're like, I don't have a baby anymore. I thought I had a baby. What happened? So this is just my personal experience. Of course, not everybody's gonna have the same experience. You're probably gonna have different experiences, but just beware. Nobody told me that breastfeeding hurts, number one. Nobody told me that you're learning, you're growing with your baby. So that's what I want you guys to know. And everybody faces difficulties, I know, and I'm here to share my story with you. So if you're struggling with something, it's worse or less painful, just write it down in the comment section down below, and I'm happy to read you guys. If you guys have any more questions that I maybe did not touch, please let me know. And I'm so sorry again for my daughter making noise in the back, but that is parenthood. So this is my video. Thank you so much for watching my video. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.